What's up, Jeevan Stonson? I'm well aware I look like a fucking mad scientist or one of those them dolls with the hair that goes all the way off purple. But it's not my fault that my country makes us be imprisoned. But anyway, the point of this is it's to make a live lost journal just for me. So like this week I made like 2.2k, but there were several rule breaks. I think there was about eight what I'd say are seven minor rule breaks and one pretty big rule break where I went 600 unrealized down. So I'm just gonna every week push this out just for me to improve my own discipline. And let's get to it. So first of all, in terms of like trading and trading profits, even with 150 risk, I can still generate pretty good income as long as I stick to the rules. Like 1,000 days are still possible risking 150 a trade because you just have like three or four $300 trades and you hit the thousand. So 885. So I'm running well. And I'm trying to I used to try and avoid red days. I'm trying to let myself have them, but if I have them, I want them small. Like I think one red day a week is healthy. And in terms of the patterns, just finding out what works and what doesn't. I've got to be careful not to short these 52-week high gap as I'm getting punished ultimately on them. But the high volume and low volume from the guide, it's just me standard textbook setup, like 3 grand. It's pretty much all me profits, like most that gap and craps over like the last few years. And there's just not been that many other good setups that I'd normally take that I just haven't come. Market's quiet. And but me first ever long strategy that works. Buying leg twos and multi-month breakouts. I'm really pleased that I found a long setup that works. And in this, I'm very close. Well, this gap and crop reversals, I'm close on, and like these VWAP reclaims, something that Dan Irish does. Like there's a few technicals that I'm just working out. But other than that, let's just kind of skip straight to trades. These are the basic rules. Process not profits. 150 max loss, 500 max loss on the day. No ads. Unless you get in your entry, like you can add to find your position, but not after. Only short in red. I think that means only like short when you're onto a winner or something. Oh no, only short in the first red candle. And once you're in and out, like I don't want to play around the core. Once I'm out of a trade, I'm out because I don't think it's going low. I don't want to be getting back in. I think you can get tricked there. So April 1, followed the strategy, but didn't cut one loss. So I already kind of slipped. There was a rule break straight away, but we've already kind of gone through these. That was pretty. Snow was all right. It's nice to be on the backside of this on ACY short in the afternoon. Finding the entry, perfect trades. This is the one where I kind of didn't cut the loss. I got a bit stubborn in the 220s. I let it pop just a bit over the 230s and then I covered it because there's sometimes when I'm like, I know it's going to fail. Like, I know it is. It's so heavy. And in those situations, I've not cut the loss, which is bad, but at least I'm not adding to the loser. Like, if I at least get out of the habit of adding to losers, everyone will not cut a loss from here and there. And it's bad and it's wrong. But it's fucking terrible to add to that loser after that. And it's even worse to remove your daily max loss if you go over it. So I'm working on cutting the losses better, but at least I'm at fucking stage 1 of the problem. I'm not at stage 4 cancer. Love that Sun W long. Love that wedge break, although it didn't work. I'm still working on the technicals of these. Again, I think we've been over these already, so I'm not gonna. Right, we'll go straight to April 5th. So yeah, this is when I found out you can make 1k a day with 150 risk. So that means 2k on 300 risk, 4k on 600 risk. Stop fucking about with your size. Play like this or don't play anyway because I can literally risk 150 when I'm disciplined and make a grand. So that means I can make 4k a day on a 600 risk trade. It's crazy money. I just really need to fix this last thing, which is why we're doing this exercise. And this is a great day, like BPTH, high volume resistance short. I don't mind adding because my risk doesn't change. So I've got the short in the 980s, small size. When it confirms to fail, I've got an add here in the 9s, still risking the 1020s because I wasn't full size. Covered a bit, added a bit. I don't mind that. It's a high volume resistant short, very high likelihood of failing. But because I've added, I've kind of broken the rules and I've covered early and then I've missed out on the dollar extra downside. So you've got to let them run. And I'm not sure how I feel about this ad, but on a high volume resistance short, like I don't think it's a rule break. And it's the similar thing with UXIN as well. Like it's finding a position, you're risking the 185s, and then let's go back to that. You're risking the that was the first. This is the first red day. Risking the 185s. Yeah, I've got one more ad, and I can lower my risk accordingly. I can lower my risk. There's not really a key level to risk. I think previously I was risking like a higher level up in the twos, and then I've added here because I'm lowering my risk down to like this level. So again, this was like a bottom cover, and I missed out again on more. So that was disappointing. T-cart, nice, just a very nice long. Bought the second leg. This multi-month pattern's working really well. CEMI, this was actually, like you see a lot of covers, this is actually a very good trade, so I'm actually short in the 560s, risking 560s, take an ad, and it doesn't work, so I get stop out in this area. I've added here, so I've had to lower my average, and then I've got stopped out, where I would normally just short here and risk here. I don't really like adding to this, and I'm trying to get out of it, especially in like these low volume resistant shorts. But what I do like is that I stopped out, reevaluated the situation, and I actually took this long in the 520s up into the sixes, because I could see that this was reversing and squeezing with a bunch of volume. So nice reversal. I didn't quite stick with the plan, because I shouldn't be adding down here, but you should have wider risk. And again, like it worked out better, but it's just a tough one to evaluate. I should have just been getting stopped out here, and then the trade's over, I've took a loss, but because I added, my risk went down, and yeah, it gives us the opportunity to take the long. I mean, I don't think anything was terrible or brilliant, yeah. NEOV, death candle, shorted risk in the high of the day, covered a bit early, but it worked out all right. Again, CMI, this was the short from the 580s down. I think I actually had another short somewhere in the in the 550s, got stopped out. So overall, from the morning short and the afternoon short, I made $60. It's nothing, just good risk management trade. Morning breakout, lost $14. Don't really mind giving this a shot as it's breaking out multi-month levels. Just lost. You will take losses, and this is important, like to accept the small red day. So with PHUN finding the average, got stopped out, got back in, and again, like I don't like that. I'm a bit stressed, so I'm covering quick. Like, why not ride that 237 average down to the 190s? Why am I covering some of my position in the 220s when I'm short 230? Like, that doesn't work for me. So you've got one entry pretty much, cover the top, get back in on the bounce after it's dropped, and just get better at playing big picture. This was one of the best trades of the month. I was actually short at the open, and I held it all the way down, so picked up like a good couple of bucks. Again, like trend break on RMC, this actually came down the next day, so I don't know why I didn't just hold me 13 average with conviction. Slightly annoying. PAVM, just took it long, held it, got stopped out, tiny loss, love it. Great daily setup, good volume. ISA, I don't have the trade on that. Again, afternoons just haven't been working. Like afternoon breakout, like I'm trying to buy the dip after the push, and just got stopped out, and then it ran anyway. So I need a wider risk there. I've called it Irish because Dan Irish kind of taught us this, but I'm not doing it right. This was very messy. This was a major rule break. Like that is not, you don't chase that up. Like it's just bounced pretty high. It's probably gonna have to consolidate before it goes, get in a tighter range, and that was a horrible chase, stopped out. Tried again, stopped out. Like it's just, I'd rather, like it just needs to be way tighter, and then it's failing there, and then it's popping back up. I mean, it's just not a good trade, and I got undisciplined with it and used too much size, so. But still a small red day, and then April 7th, broke all rules, limit trading setups to pre. So you can see like throughout the week I'm getting sloppier and sloppier. Start off with ASTC, took a short pre, stopped out, perfect. Got back in at the open, and why am I covering here? And why am I getting back in there? Like, stupid. Like, you've got a short from the 280s to the 220s. You've got 60 cents there. It's about 20 plus percent, 25%, maybe more. And it's just me risk reward is way off. I mean, that risking 200, it's just a bad trade. Again, this, I don't hate like TMDI. It's like, it's a low volume resistant short, borderline high volume. Stop trading pre-market because it's just sketchy right now. But I took a short, got stopped out, got back in at the open, finding the average here. I don't mind that. I'm like, here's the first entry up. It's looking weak. Quickly get another one, risking that 240. And again, I'm covering way too early. And I'm getting sucked in. Like you can see, I should just be covering at the end of the day. Like again, it's 40 cents on that. There's no need to be covering like this. I mean, this kind of worked out that I took some off and added back into the pot, but I don't want to be trading like this. It gets us in bad habits. SOS was probably where I think things started going wrong. So yeah, it was like I took this short, I took this long, I took this short, I took this long, then covered when I was short. Not sure what even happened here. Maybe I caught. No, I actually remember what happened. I took it short a couple of times, didn't work, and then actually took it long in the sixes, rode it to the 630s, and then I sold it for break even. So that was kind of a bit annoying because there was big volume there. I thought it could run, but it's a higher float. And then I'm not sure what was going on here. I'm not sure even what I did. I think I was obviously short, got stopped out, or got back in. There's a bunch of covers here, then re-shorts, and then a bunch of covers, and then I just don't know what's going on. I mean, but it's not how I want to trade at all. I remember dip buying down here and fucking losing. You'll probably see that in a minute, but with this, I'm not sure what happened. But I mean, I think it's failed and I've just shorted and then covered. As long as my risk is red, green or something like that. Long leg two. This was a bit too much of a push with not enough consolidation. I'm not surprised I lost here. Gap crap reversal. Yeah, with SOS, the same. I lost $200 between the morning and the afternoon. Just like I knew this was going to reverse. Like this bounce from the 520s to the 6 was always coming because the volume's so high. But it's like I need more consolidation. Like I was trying to catch the bottom here, then I was trying to catch it in the 550s and the 560s. And then ultimately last shot was in the 530s, and then it went. And then I tried to short the bounce. Like again, I'm kind of all over. It's like let like 10:30 come. Like let some consolidation. Like we've got, at least here we've got like between 10 and 10:30, we've got half an hour of it not going lower. Like that's a good sign that it might bounce rather than just trying to catch some bottom, like waiting a bit. It seems to work. Got a bit better on April 8th. I didn't trade pre-market because I was just like, it's not working. So came in at like 9:15, couldn't resist AVCT, but like I'm not sitting from 7:30 is what I mean. Short 760, risking 8, added when it's not working. Let it rip, don't panic out. I'm not adding, then covering when it rips. I'm just short off me risk, added based off me risk, let it come up, let it come down, and then I'm taking a bit off. That was a good trade. Perfect example of not like adding when things go out of control, having a risk level, like everything's perfect with this. Very, again, like it's a beautiful trade this. I mean, it's a 52-week high, but the volume's not light, so you expect it can drop. Short in the 14s, and I'm out like 40, I'm out with 30, 40 cents, like very small loss. And then re-attack it a bit early. Like I'd like to see a bit more of a sign of backside, straight back out. And then again, I'm back in early a couple of times. And then ultimately, because like I've messed myself around and not waited for real backside confirmation, something more like this candle here, I'm covering early and I missed the downside. This was a couple of hundred that I missed out on just because, again, I'm not sticking to the strategy properly. Rice, it's just a fucking mess. I don't know if I went long on this at some. Oh, I did go long. This is another one where you go short and then long. The volume's pretty high, but short, covered at the open, didn't get stopped out. Not sure what happened. Then short got stopped out. One last try, wrote it down, and again, like I didn't let it break me risk. I just took it off. Not sure if this basically. I mean, this double bottom when this knee jerk reacted back up. It just felt like a squeeze was on the cards, and I know you should like kind of wait and let your wrist be broke, but I just had a very good feeling that this was going to squeeze, so I just flipped long and took it from the 1350s up to the 1550s. So like a couple of bucks on the long side that I managed to make by flipping just, and again like I don't regret it. I mean, it was I actually made money more. I like saved some money on the short side, made some money on the long side, and when I have flipped, I've never really been wrong. So the awesome circumstances where I'll take the trade off before my wrist gets hit. I shouldn't really do it, but I mean, on stuff like 52-week high gappers that can reverse, I'm going to do it from now on, or for now until I find out otherwise. But it's a contradiction in rules, it's tough. SFAT is pretty perfect. Again, like I could have left it on longer, and maybe I should have left it on longer, but just took the short risk in the high of the day. It started to roll over. It's not really a strong setup. Volume's nothing mental. Covered the bottom, but I wouldn't have minded getting stopped out actually. Do you know what it is? Stopped out up here for the last third or the last half just to have patience. But the thing with SFET was it was only up like 18%, so I was covering it at like 6%, so it's actually perfect. INVU, this was a beautiful short. This was actually a short from a couple of days back in the 70s, risking the 78s, and sadly covered in the 60s, lost patience, and then I fell down to the 46s. So that was going to be like a 40% gain, and I cut it short at like 18, 19, 20. So that was a shame, but it's good learning, good practice, good OTC shorts. Race, this was the long VWAP reclaim, so I made $126 instead of losing it. And then the last day was really bad. This is April 10th, I think, not 9th. My car broke down, very emotional, very disappointed. I was just like, fuck this, like I'm just gonna get a bottle of wine and stuff. So wasn't like drum trading, but it was like a Friday, my car had broke, like I was pissed off, and just got stubborn and went really back to old habits, and this is like adding, just hoping it doesn't go wrong. I mean, the setup is bearish as hell, like low volume, history of failing, one and done chart. Like, to be honest, I would short like this every day of the week, thinking it's 100% gonna fail, and it will. So like, if I'm gonna break the rules, I don't mind breaking them on this setup, but it's really, you can be bullish on bearish setups, you can be aggressive on bearish setups, but I shouldn't be getting into the habit of doing this, because when I do this, it allows us to then do it on less bearish setups and then less bearish, and it slips without us realizing that I go down $5,000. So this is a very terrible trade. I picked the right one to fuck up on, but it's something I don't want to repeat. EFMD, long, nice little long try, picked up $36. It's not perfect, like you're longing into a bunch of resistance. I don't like how much this has dropped, and it's not ideal, but anyway, small profit. CELC was just out of control, but at least I fucking, like, just stupid, no conviction. Like, it's 52-week high. It's thin, and I'm shortening covering because I've got no conviction it's going to work, so why even be in it? EAS was the perfect long. Perfect wedge break squeeze long. I just didn't have enough patience. Should have kept my eye on it, but as an emotional wreck. And race was just fucking this red to green. Being short after it's gone red to green and holding is just dumb. Yeah, I mean, look, in summary, I'm making conscious efforts to try and trade the big picture, trade less, be in and out of trades less, scalping less. I'm working on what setups really pay and which ones I should probably be trying to avoid because they might encourage poor discipline. I'm recognizing when I'm going wrong. Fuck me, it's ridiculous. And look, I mean, it was a bad week of rule breaks, but it's nowhere near what I was doing before. I'm not going down 3, 4, 5K and once a week. Like I'd be down 2 or 3 grand at least once a week. But then I'd be thinking, well, I'm making 3 or 4 grand a week. So if one time I do eat the 3K loss, I just lose the week, right? But I'm making 4 grand every other week. But what I've realized is I can actually make 2 to 3 grand without going down, by only going down 600 at the worst if I really fuck up. So just by being more disciplined and enforcing more stringent rules, I'm making more or less just as much, but I'm not having the downswings. So the key for next week, and I'll do another video next week until I get my discipline under control and get trading how I want, is like less of those fucking red and green trading ticks, less entries and exits, more big picture, more patience, and that's what I'm going for.